Welcome to Math 107 online. My name is Caitlin Worth. I'm the instructor for the class, and this video is to orient you to our Moodle site and just explain where everything is and what the expectations for the course are so that you can work through the semester smoothly. So I am logged into Moodle right now, and if I scroll down, I can see all the courses that I'm enrolled in. And I'm going to choose this one, Math 107 2, College Algebra. That's our course. So we're now in the Moodle site, and the first thing that appears is the syllabus and other documents. So let's investigate in there. So we have an online schedule by week. I'll open that and show you. This is a bird's eye view of the entire semester, week by week. What textbook sections you should read or watch the videos for in MyLab, what instructor videos to watch. These videos are in a playlist in Moodle. I'll show you in a few minutes. What MyLab homework to complete, any other stuff that you need to do. Due dates for both homework and any other stuff that's due is always going to be Tuesdays at 4 p.m. And then if you're enrolled in Math 003 as a co-requisite, these are your integrated review assignments. If you are not enrolled in Math 003, you can ignore this last column. But you can see that this just gives you a nice overview of the semester. We can see the first test is going to come up in the week of September 25th. So have that in the back of your mind, and you can see when all the tests are and all the homework is due. Okay, next we have a student registration handout for MyLab. There is an entire separate video for MyLab that you will watch in addition to this one. So I'm not going to open this and talk about it, but know that there's a whole other video for MyLab. Okay, the next thing is the syllabus. So my name is Caitlin Worth. Like I said, here's my email. Office hours are by appointment. I can meet via Zoom, available at lots of times. Just send me an email to set something up. This is an online class with no required meetings, but I'm always available via email or on Zoom if you have questions or just want to check in. The only exception to this no required meetings is that there is a proctored final exam. So you have to take your final exam in person with a proctor, whether that's at GCC or another location. We'll talk about that later in the syllabus, but I just wanted to say it right up front. Your textbook is just a MyLab Math access code. You don't have to buy a book in addition to that. The MyLab access comes with an electronic version of the text. And then some kind of graphing technology is really useful. I suggest the free graphing software GeoGebra. Lots of students are familiar with Desmos and like Desmos, and that will work wonderfully as well. All right, so I'm going to skip over the description. It won't mean anything to you if you've never taken a class like this. So brief note about the co-requisite model. So the co-requisite model, which is when you have concurrent enrollment in Math 003, it allows you to register for Math 107, even having not met the prerequisites for the class. However, do note that the arithmetic skills and the algebra skills found in those prerequisite courses are still used throughout the course. They're still used and you still have to know them. College algebra contains the same material as it ever has. So if you're in this class without having had the prerequisites, know that you will need to devote extra time and effort, likely in addition to your Math 003 Math Studio time, to learning those prerequisite skills while also learning Math 107. All right, so what to expect? The class is run entirely online except for the final exam. The online components of the course are accessed via Moodle, which we're working through right now, and MyLab Math. Each week will run from Wednesday to Tuesday, and you'll be responsible for working through approximately 3 lessons. And that means watching the lesson demo video and taking notes in the posted course packet or a notebook. I will show you where those videos live and the course packet lives when we get back into Moodle. Work through the lesson activity that follows the demo in the course packet. I will show you where that is also. Check your answers in the packet And if you can't get the answer or you got the wrong answer and you're stumped, there is a video that you can watch with all those activities being completed. Read the course text as needed. So you don't have to schedule time to read the course text. It's really just an additional resource. And in your checklists for each week where it says read the course text, if you didn't need to, you can just check that off. And then lastly, complete the homework assignment for the lesson in MyLab Math. And then after working through the week's lessons, you're going to post any questions, insights, points of confusion, or connections you've made in our weekly discussion forum. The exact assignments for each week are laid out in the weekly course schedule that I showed you a couple of minutes ago, and in each week's Moodle checklist, which I'll show you when we go back to Moodle. Note that some weeks there will also be a quiz or an exam to complete. And there's a 2-hour final exam that you must take in person at GCC or at another proctored location proposed by the student and approved by the instructor. So you will need to be prepared to spend a minimum of 12 hours per week on the course. That's 4+ hours of videos, 8+ hours of reading and other assignments. That's without Math 003. If you are taking this concurrently with Math 003 because you don't have the prerequisites, you will be spending a lot more time than that. So just keep that in mind as you schedule everything in your life. Okay, I'm going to skip the student learning outcomes, resources, instructor. You can always email me or set up an appointment. Moodle has everything that you need, all your course material. The Math Studio. The Math Studio exists, and some students are required to attend if you're taking Math 003 concurrently. You go to the Math Studio twice a week, but the Math Studio is open to everyone and it is staffed all day by GCC math instructors. The schedule is posted in Moodle, and there's a virtual and an on-campus Math Studio, so you have access to that. And peer tutors, also you can meet them on campus or virtually. And then I got a couple links here for tech support. I'm going to let you read some of this rest of this stuff on your own. Let's look at grade. So methods of evaluation, syllabus quiz. So I've gone through most of the items on this syllabus. I want you to also read it very carefully. And then you're going to take a syllabus quiz in the first week of the course. So it's worth 4% of your grade. It's open resource, so you can look at the syllabus while you take it, and you should get 100%, and that's a free 4% of your grade. Free 4 points. Then you have discussion forums weekly where you'd converse with your classmates and your instructor about the week's material. To earn full credit for discussion forums, you just have to post at least once per week. And those are worth 5%. Classwork and participation is worth 5%. This is your Moodle checklist. So every week in Moodle, there is a checklist where you just mark off each assigned task that you've completed. And the checklist tasks are always due on Tuesdays at 4 p.m., but there's no penalty for late checklists. And just note that completing a lesson activity means that you attempted each problem, you checked your answers with the solutions manual, you followed up on any problems that you got incorrect until they made sense to you. This part of your grade is self-reported. It's based on the percentage of tasks that you check off, but I do reserve the right to ask to see evidence of completion at any time. And then homework is 25% of your grade, and this is all in MyLab Math. It's all submitted in MyLab Math. It's a good idea to still keep a notebook with a record of all your homework and answers. Just in case you have a question, you come to me, I can see what you've done and see, kind of diagnose what the problem is. MyLab Math gives you immediate feedback as to whether a question's right or wrong, and you can redo a question as many times as necessary until you get it right. If you run out of chances, there's always the option to press that button that says try a similar problem. And then you get a new problem, and when you get that one right, full credit. So I really am expecting and hopeful that everyone's homework grade is an A, okay? So you get to try as many times as you want. You can submit homework late for a 10% penalty on the unfinished portion of the assignment. So you can always go back and always work on homework, even if the due date has passed. And there's no reason that you shouldn't finish the semester with a 90% or better on homework. So that's really going to be a nice boost to your grade. It's 25% of your grade that you should get an A on. And in addition, it will prepare you for your exams. If you're concurrently enrolled in Math 003, MyLab Math also has some integrated review assignments that you'll be required to complete and will be included in your homework grade. And attendance and participation in your Math 003 section is also required. So just know that if you're in 003, that homework and that attendance counts in your grade for this class. So keep that in mind. Finally, we have exams. There'll be 3 exams worth 12% each, so that's 36% of your overall grade. These are taken in Moodle at home. They are semi-open resource, so you're allowed to consult your notes or the textbook or your homework problems, but you are not allowed to consult with other people in any way. And you're allowed to use any resource other than people that does not solve the problem or any part of the problem for you. So that precludes any kind of AI. So you're allowed to use resources like your notes, but not people or AI technology. And then finally, there's a proctored final exam. So it's a cumulative exam, covers everything from the whole semester, 2 hours. You have to take it in person at GCC, or you can take it in another proctored location proposed by the student and approved by the instructor. Most likely, most students who aren't local will use the testing center at a local college or university, or a public library. Also works well. For that exam, the only resources you're allowed to use are a scientific calculator and 1 page of notes of your own creation. Makeup policy. So checklist items can always be checked off late with no penalty. Homework in MyLab Math can always be submitted late for a 10% penalty on the unfinished portion of the assignment. So again, that is supposed to be a gimme A. So your homework grade should always be 90% or better. So if you had something late, maybe you didn't get 100% on it, but you can work on homework until you get it all right. You can work with a tutor. You can work on it in the math studio with an instructor. You work on that until you have an A. Discussion forum participation is not accepted late. Otherwise, it wouldn't really be much of a discussion. And quizzes and exams generally are not accepted late. If you miss an exam, you typically receive a 0 on it. But of course, there are exceptions to these policies if you missed class or didn't complete an assignment due to some extraordinary circumstance like illness or weather, or you had an internet outage, anything like that. The sooner you reach out to me, the easier it is to make an accommodation when you have a situation like that. Okay, so that pretty much covers the syllabus. I do want you to make sure that you go back and read all of that because you will have a quiz on the syllabus. Okay, so back to Moodle. Now that we kind of talked about how the whole semester is going to work, let me just show you around Moodle and you can see where everything lives that we referred to in the syllabus. So here are some course lesson packets. So these are for taking notes. There is a blank version and a filled in version for each packet. So if we open up packet 1 blank, take a quick look at this. So every lesson starts with a set of preview exercises. These are like warm-ups, things that you should probably know how to do before you start the lesson. Couple of warm-ups. And then we have a demo. There are videos for both the previews and the demo posted in Moodle. I'll show you where they are. So you watch the video and take notes as you watch. Okay, you can fill in this packet. You can print this packet and fill it in as you watch, or you can just take notes in a notebook. Okay, after the demo, there is an activity. So the activity you should try to do without any help. You should just sit down, try to work through the problems in the activity. Check your answers as you go. The answers are at the end of the activity. Okay. And if there's one that you just can't get, you keep getting the wrong answer, you have no idea what to do, there's a video for the activities as well. So you can go watch all or part of the activity video as needed. And then in addition to the blank version of the notes, there's a filled in version where all these problems are done. Okay, so this is just all the notes have been taken. All right, so let's head back to Moodle. After the lesson packets, there's a link to the lesson videos. So we click this link, it takes us to a playlist in YouTube, and you can see that every lesson there's a video for the preview exercises, the demo, and the activities. Here's a link to MyLab Math. There is a whole separate video on using MyLab Math, so I will skip that. This is a link to the Math Studio schedule. They're on campus and virtual hours, and this link here will take you to the virtual Math Studio. This is a link to the peer tutoring website. You can also call their phone number to make an appointment. And then in other resources, it's just GeoGebra, a link to download GeoGebra and some instructions for using it. So that is the course resources block of Moodle. And then after that, you see that each week of the course has a block. And in each week, there is a to-do list. So the to-do list you see will depend on whether you're enrolled in Math 107 or both Math 107 and Math 003, because you'll have slightly different to-do lists. So you click on your checklist, and you will have little boxes next to each task where you are supposed to check off as you do it. And that is part of your grade. That's your participation / classwork grade, is just checking off these tasks as you do them. And then to complete the checklists, everything you need to complete the checklist is either up here in the course resources block or immediately underneath the checklist. So one thing that you need to do in week 1, it says watch the course intro videos. Here's the link to the course intro videos, which you're watching right now. Another thing you need to do is sign up for MyLab Math. Here's the instruction sheet for how to do that. And then another thing you need to complete in the week 1 checklist is a syllabus quiz. Here's the link to the syllabus quiz. And then we have the discussion forum for week 1. So that's week 1. And then you'll see every week has the same structure. There's a to-do list. You'll only see one. Again, you'll only see one to-do list, but there'll be a to-do list. And then anything you need to do that to-do list will either live up in the course resources or underneath the to-do list. So I'll just open a few of these so you can see that each week has the same structure until we get to a test week. There's a little note up at the top that says test week, and then there'll be some information about the exam, and anything else that you need to know will be right underneath the checklists. Let's see. One other thing I want to show you in Moodle is where to find your grades. So up along the top here of Moodle, there's a little tab called Grades. You click that, and that's where you'll find your grades for anything that you do in Moodle. Your homework grade will always be in MyLab Math. Watch the MyLab Math video to get an orientation for that. That's it. I hope you have a great semester. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. I'll be available.